Okay, we are rolling. Champions of Champions Boxing Talk. It's been a week, and every Jack in the Box seem to be retiring, don't they? I'm here today with my best friend, Katie. She's my cat. She's always by my side. We're going to be talking about Manny Pacquiao today, and I'm telling you, this girl has the reflexes of the Manny Pacquiao that demolished Ricky Hatton and Oscar De La Hoya, I've got to tell you. That is not the Manny Pacquiao we see today. It was interesting before. I watched round 9 again of Jeff Horn, Manny Pacquiao, and Jeff Horn was really out on his feet. But then I watched Manny Pacquiao v Oscar De La Hoya, and let me tell you something. That version of Manny Pacquiao would beat this Manny Pacquiao within 4 rounds. Absolutely no question about it. That fellow back in 2008 was an absolute beast. That fellow in 2008 was an all-time great. This version, no fault of his own, age catches everyone, is a very good fighter, but he's not on that level. But, you know, this happened to Roberto Duran, didn't it? It happened to all the greats, Muhammad Ali, and Pacquiao is still in good shape for most 35-year-olds. But you just have to watch them old fights, don't you? Pacquiao, Cotto, Pacquiao, De La Hoya, Pacquiao, Hatton, Pacquiao, even Margarito. For me, he did show glimpses in the Timothy Bradley fight in 2015 of the prime Manny Pacquiao. Every fighter who is great always has one last performance in them. I'm hoping that was not that night, because Jeff Horn needs sorting out. Jeff Horn's team apparently have agreed that they need to sort out any discrepancies to do with the judges in the next fight, the rematch. That's kind of like admitting, isn't it, that you screwed Manny Pacquiao over in the first fight. If you say yes, if Jeff Horn's camp comes out and says, yes, I agree, we should take who we pick in terms of judging for this next fight seriously, that tells you that they themselves didn't really believe that they won the first fight. Now, I know that people are going to say the WBO rescored the fight. You mean the WBO investigated itself? Well, it's not going to find itself guilty, is it? I mean, that would be laughable. That's like when people say that aliens crashed in New Mexico, Roswell. And they say, oh, the people around Roswell and the government have investigated this and they found nothing. Well, they wouldn't find nothing, would they? They're not gonna put themselves in trouble or jeopardy, are they? So, on one hand, they're saying the WBO proved that Jeff Horn won the fight, and then the next, Jeff Horn's camp is agreeing with Manny's camp that they have to sort out any discrepancies with judges. You ain't confident then that you won that first fight, but neither am I. This video is going to be about a variety of topics. I'm kind of going off on a tangent. One thing Manny needs to do is take... I mean, there is an element of me that thinks that although I scored the fight for Manny, and people said that he looked a far cry from his former self, but he did in his 3 other previous fights. He didn't look like the Manny we know v Floyd Mayweather. He didn't look like the Manny we know v Jesse Vargas. And he nearly looked like the Manny we know v Timothy Bradley. But all in all, it is what it is. This is not the same Manny today as we saw yesterday. But it's still a Manny that is capable of some real good things, providing he takes the camp real serious, as though he's about to fight a top fighter. As though he's about to fight an elite guy. That's how he's got to prepare for Jeff Horn in the rematch. I don't think he actually did, to be honest with you. He looked good in training camp, at the end of the camp, apparently. But I think you need a consistent camp. And for all what he's given his country, Manny Pacquiao, would it be so bad for the Senate to say, look, we are behind you, Manny. Go and train for this fight like you are training for a Miguel Cotto or, again, a Ricky Hatton or a Floyd Mayweather, any of the top boys. Because whether we like it or not, Jeff Horn was really dirty in that fight. He was doing things and getting away with things that should not be allowed in a boxing ring. It looked like let's put it this way. Conor McGregor v Floyd Mayweather will not be allowed to do the same MMA moves that Jeff Horn was allowed to do in Australia that night. I mean, the marks on Manny Pacquiao's face didn't come from Jeff Horn's punches. They came from his flaming head. How many times did he have Manny in a headlock? And even then, even if you take the ruggedness out of the fight, Manny still beat him, even though Jeff Horn was not roughing Manny up. See, Ricky Hatton roughed Costa Tszyu up within the rules. And he dropped Costa Tszyu with a low blow, shall we say. But you have to remember, Costa Tszyu hit Ricky Hatton 2 times before Ricky went to dirty mode. But Jeff Horn was being respected back. Manny Pacquiao wasn't hitting Jeff Horn low. Manny Pacquiao was respecting Jeff Horn in that ring. He was fighting within the rules. But Jeff Horn, headlocks, elbows, headbutts. Never once did the referee think, I'm going to give him a warning. There wasn't even a warning in there. It was kind of ridiculous. Stuff that Conor McGregor wishes he could get away with on August 26th. But Manny needs a good training camp. Freddie Roach has got to access Manny Pacquiao's psyche again. Something I think now is beyond Freddie Roach, to be honest with you. I think Manny Pacquiao could have done what he did in Australia without Freddie Roach and Justin Fortune. I'm just telling it as it is. Freddie Roach has really not been a benefit to Manny Pacquiao. I mean, of recent times, because let's face it, sport is about what you do now, not what you did yesterday. You know, that's why in other sports, football, Manchester United cannot live off the success that they had with Sir Alex Ferguson. They have to be a good team today. Because the fans just won't. The fans won't have it. It has to happen now. And Freddie Roach, for all intents and purposes, is not motivating Manny. I just don't see it. But 5 years to come up with that plan against Floyd Mayweather. 5 years. Freddie Roach did a better job in terms of strategy for Oscar De La Hoya than he gave Manny Pacquiao. I know people talk about an injured shoulder and all of that stuff, but the tactics before the shoulder went, which apparently was in the 4th round, Manny Pacquiao to me seemed to rely on his trainer more in his career than Mayweather did. Mayweather is seemingly adaptive reactive, as Richard Dwyer says, and it's a great phrase from Richard Dwyer. Shout out to him. And Freddie Roach used to really do an amazing job. Not that night. Floyd Sr. was whooping him, and I don't rate Floyd Sr. as a coach. I really don't. But you had a non-league coach, an F-level coach at best, outwitting. At least he was showing some enthusiasm in that corner to Floyd, telling him he was behind in the fight and that he was playing scared. He told Floyd the truth. Freddie Roach was silent. and he needed to get some fire out of Manny. He did, but he didn't do it. Didn't seem to be doing that for me in the Jesse Vargas fight. And what did Freddie Roach come out with after the Jeff Horn fight? During the fight, I don't know what the score is because I don't score fights. Well, why are you an elite trainer then if you say you can't score a fight while it's going on? Come on. And to say Manny was not doing things in the fight consistent enough. Okay, some of that blame falls on Manny, but does it not fall on you and your ability to prepare your fighter? Because even this version of Manny Pacquiao, you're not talking about a man with an ordinary skill set. How many trainers I know they're biting on the lips thinking, if I'd have had Manny that night. Seriously, I mean, I do think Teddy Atlas would have fired Manny up. And in the 10th round, I think Jeff Horn would have been knocked out. I do. I think Robert Garcia would have fired Manny up. But Freddie Roach, I believe, will be as good as ever with maybe a fresh new talent. But I think him and Manny have gotten stale. Now, I know it might be too late for Manny to change at this point, but Manny Pacquiao needs to find the drive within. I think he will beat Jeff Horn, and I think it will be a better performance. Because he knows Jeff Horn now, and we all know great fighters make adjustments. And I do think that was the very best that Jeff Horn could do. And he is a better fighter than most people thought, including myself. And I actually thought he was a pretty good fighter. But Manny's got to find it on his own, or for the fans, or just for the title, because belts matter to Manny, don't they? Because he's ambitious. He wants to break records. I'd love to know what the record is for the most times winning the welterweight title. We know that the heavyweight title is Evander Holyfield's record. 5 times, different different alphabetical titles. But he's won a version of the heavyweight title 5 times. If Manny beats Jeff Horn, this will be 4 times of different versions of the welterweight title. If anybody knows the answer as to who has won the welterweight title or versions of the welterweight title the most times, could you please let me know in the comment section down below? Much appreciated. I've put this question in groups galore, and all people keep telling me is how many defenses certain fighters made with the welterweight title. That's not what I'm asking, right? But yes, I do think Manny will find something. And if it is to do with a record, we all know how Manny motivates himself when he sees a record. So, first senator to win a world title. That seemed to get him up for the Vargas fight. Lineal champion in 5 weight classes v Bradley. That certainly got him up. The 8th division world title against a man who was so much heavier than him in Margarito. That certainly got Manny motivated. He seems to need an incentive, Manny Pacquiao, to do his best work. I don't think he's like a Floyd Mayweather. I think when Manny's, shall we say, back's against the wall and people are doubting him, I think that's when he does his best work. I don't think Manny Pacquiao's psyche is one that could go 50 fights unbeaten, because he is more likely, I think, to be distracted and be a little bit more complacent than a Mayweather. Don't think he means to do it, but it's there. And when he's coming back from a defeat, he has something to prove. And he always seems to prove it. So he's a guy a bit like Muhammad Ali, that when he's down and people are doubting him, he likes to come back swinging. And he may just do that in this fight. I actually think he will, because I still think he's got far more tools than Jeff Horn. And I do actually think that the referee will be aware this time. The judges will have to be aware, because Horn's camp's even admitted that they have to work with Manny's camp and Bob Arum to make sure that judges are not dodgy. Well, that's admitting that the judges in the first fight, as I've already said, were ultra dodgy. 9 rounds to 3, I mean, come on. Are you kidding me? On to another topic, and it's been talked about this week, and it's to do with Malignaggi. I want you to go and shout out to Hatman Boxing. Hatman Strikes Back, sorry. Frame for frame, he breaks down the little snippet of sparring session we've seen between Conor McGregor and Malignaggi. And honestly, the evidence is there that was not a knockdown. Let me tell you another thing. If that's the best that Conor McGregor's camp could offer us, it goes without saying they're in big trouble. Big trouble in Chinatown, let me tell you that. Because these guys sparred 20 rounds. 20 rounds. And all we see is a good left hand to the face of Malignaggi, which he took, right? He took the punch. Then we see in slow motion from Hatman's video, you have to see it. I'll put it in my description down below, and you can click on the link. We see obviously where Malignaggi is pushed to the ground. First of all, fighting Malignaggi or sparring with Malignaggi these days is like fighting Larry Merchant. Malignaggi these days is a retired boxer and a commentator. To be blagging that you got the better of this guy when I'd like to see evidence of the full 12 rounds is ridiculous on Conor McGregor's part. You should be knocking him out in sparring. Right? You should be knocking him out. He's not in fighting shape. He's commentating. He's way past his prime. Sam Ettingham stopped Malignaggi in England in I think about 8 or 9 rounds. There's Conor McGregor going 20 rounds to hell and back with Malignaggi a year later, I think, as well. I'm not convinced. Let's put it that way. And this guy, Conor McGregor, the payday is going to his head. The payday is going to his head. He said he saw Manny Pacquiao just mauled v. Jeff Horn. Then what the hell was round 9, Conor? Jeff Horn was being mauled in that round. You mean Jeff Horn come forward and applied MMA tactics that you wish you could v. Floyd Mayweather? Ridiculous. Then he said that Golovkin and Canelo are not that good. Well, you've just gone 20 rounds with a past his prime Malignaggi who's not a thunderous puncher. Never was. Right? Let's put you in there for 20 rounds with either Golovkin or Canelo, and your head will be rolling down the road. If Malignaggi took a left hand, and you're a 154-pounder, Conor, in this fight with Mayweather. Malignaggi's a welterweight. Canelo has fought 150-odd pounds. If he landed that same shot on Malignaggi, that you landed, Malignaggi would be in dream creamy world land. But he walked through your punch. He's starting to disrespect boxing. Now, I know it's to build up a fight, but stick to your opponent. Don't start talking about other potential legends. There are 3 real good fighters there that would kick your ass. Manny Pacquiao would still lever you now. Golovkin would put you in a netherworld. Canelo would send you to outer space. And if Malignaggi was given a 3-month training camp, even at this point, he would beat you. He would beat you. No question about it. A ridiculous story has been leaked that Zab Judah apparently has knocked Floyd Mayweather out in training camp. I don't believe it for a second. Not for 1 second. Why? apparently, Zab Judah is not in the vicinity. He's nowhere near the Mayweather gym. Can he astral project out of his body and turn up in the Mayweather gym, spar with Floyd and knock him out even though he's the other side of the United States? I don't think so. I don't think so. See, Floyd Mayweather is even making an effort to give Conor McGregor the gloves he wants. Not the sort of thing Floyd did when he faced Madonna, is it? Not the sort of thing that he does with any of his other good quality opponents. People say, oh, the small gloves will suit McGregor. No, it won't, because McGregor won't be landing any punches. Any form of glove in a boxing situation, even without gloves, favours Mayweather. Or if it ends up a scrap, a toe-to-toe battle, it favours McGregor. No, it doesn't. It does not. Why? Because toe-to-toe fighting in a boxing ring is very different from toe-to-toe fighting in the UFC. You can't kick, can you? And he's comparing this fight with Ali Inoki, Conor McGregor. No, it's not. You've got your feet tied together, mate. You can only use your hands. And let me tell you, we all know your hands are not as good as Floyd's. I believe Conor McGregor will get knocked out. And I think after one round or so, people are really not going to be satisfied by the results of this. It's going to look, as anybody with a brain can tell you, stupid. He's not supposed to be there. Manny Pacquiao had gone through 8 weight divisions, beaten Hall of Famers to get to the fight with Floyd Mayweather. Why should Conor McGregor be there? You tell me. You tell me. There is not a reason why Conor McGregor should be there. He's not even a novice, right? I know journeymen, personally, that would beat Conor McGregor. Good, tough guys that know what they're doing in a boxing ring, right? He doesn't belong there. Do I blame Floyd for taking the fight? Do I blame Conor for taking the... No, I don't, because they had to take the money, didn't they? But when people actually sit down and try and make this thing like a serious fight, they're to blame. Not Floyd and Conor. Not Floyd and Conor. But by all intents and purposes, I did speak to a Mayweather... Well, he's an out-and-out fan. And he watched Mayweather's training workout recently. And he actually said that he can actually see slippage in Floyd that I can't, because he knows Floyd better than I do. And I agree, he does have more knowledge on Floyd Mayweather's style and what he is now and what he was in his prime. And he definitely says that he sees slippage. Slippage indeed. But he did also inform me, and I thought, yeah, I know what you're going to say. Nowhere near enough slippage that a Conor McGregor could beat him. Because I watched Conor McGregor's workout, and I'm not just saying it, it looked like his heavy bag was beating him. Conor McGregor, honestly, it was like watching Benny Hill or Charlie Chaplin. Beyond comedic, right? That punching bag was landing on Conor McGregor, right? He looked like a defeated man when he was working out in that punch bag. What the hell is he going to look like against Floyd? Now, people say, well, he's playing his training camp down, trying to give a perception that he's a very bad boxer. Maybe so, but is he going to be able then to turn it up 4 or 5 notches to defeat Floyd Mayweather? I don't think so. Do I have anything against Conor McGregor? No, I think he's very good at where he is. But do I even think in the UFC he's the equivalent to Floyd Mayweather for a UFC fighter? No, I don't. I don't. Right? This guy's got the gift of the gab. That's the only reason he's in this fight. That's the only reason he's in this fight. They were talking about Ronda Rousey a few years ago. Where's she now? And I'm telling you something. The casuals will drop Conor McGregor like a hot brick once Floyd Mayweather beats him. They will. Because these people think Conor McGregor is going to give Floyd Mayweather his toughest fight. When they see that he doesn't, he's gone. That's just the way I see it. Keep coughing this morning, don't I? Yet, when Conor McGregor is exposed, which he will be, Floyd may give him some mercy rounds in there. But will he? Because destroying Conor McGregor destroys Conor McGregor's brand. But destroying Conor McGregor builds Mayweather's brand. It builds Mayweather's brand. I see it, and I see Jeff Horn being defeated by Manny Pacquiao, Floyd Mayweather getting this stoppage against Conor McGregor. The casuals are back on Floyd's side again. Manny's the welterweight champion again. Maypac 2, anybody? It's not, I'm telling you, it may not be done yet. Do I think it breaks the box office record, Conor McGregor? I think it's got a chance. I don't think it'll happen, though. I think it will be the second biggest, though. But the way Floyd Mayweather is looking, the guy who knows Floyd Mayweather, in and out, I'm not going to mention his name because he doesn't like to be exposed on social media. But he said the version he sees in training camp, and Errol Spence and some of the younger guns would have a chance with him now. But you know something? Floyd knows this. Floyd knows this. He knows that Conor McGregor is a money-making machine that will help him break records, potentially, but yet give him a nice, cushy 50-0. Is that dangerous? Well, if Conor lands flush a few times and knocks him out, then yes. But I don't think Floyd's the type that underestimates people. So, a miracle could happen. So I would say, if you've got a bit of spare change, put it on Conor McGregor, because you ain't going to get much out of spare change putting the money on Floyd Mayweather. You know? But, as my brother said earlier on today, and he was right, if you want to keep your house, though, if you bet in your house, bet it on Floyd Mayweather. So, Pacquiao Horn rematch looks like it's on. I hope Manny Pacquiao finds a neutral ground. The Philippines or the United States. Please, not Australia. Please. Because you never know, the robbery could be in again. And then, it's not nice, is it? It's not good. Malignaggi was not dropped by Conor McGregor. Hatman's video is there for all to be seen. And Floyd Mayweather is looking good in training camp, and he's looking good in his workouts. Slippage is there according to a Floyd Mayweather expert, but nowhere near enough to give Conor McGregor a glimmer. As Floyd said, I'm not the fighter I was 5 years ago. I'm not the fighter I am 2 years ago. But I've got enough to beat you. And he knows it. Errol Spence, Keith Thurman. They're a different story. But the story we're dealing with is an MMA fighter who won't be able to use the same tactics Jeff Horn used against Manny Pacquiao come August 26. If he gets close to Floyd in that sense in any headlocks, the referee, whoever it is, will be on him like a flash and break it up. And if the fight does go into boxing close quarters, a phone booth fight, Conor McGregor is going to hit nothing but arms, get exhausted and countered like never before. I think Floyd will stop Conor McGregor out of exhaustion. I don't think Conor McGregor will be knocked flush out, but he will be so gassed round 6, Floyd will be able to flick him and he will fall to the ground. So that's boxing issues on Champions of Champions Boxing Talk. I'm out.